Hey, my name is Tammy, and this is my story. My story's redundant. I never really subscribed to religion. I struggle. I was a skeptic, and sometimes I still struggle. Church wasn't something I subscribed to. I knew it to be a place that was scary. Hellfire, damnation, judgment. Then we had some really good friends, Dan and Cheryl Krause. They were fun and flawed people that invited us to church one day. So we decided we'd give it a try. And I'll never forget my first time walking into the Journey. It was March 2009. And I walked in and people were in jeans and there was a coffee bar. And the biggest thing that blew my mind was U2, my favorite band, was playing I Still Haven't Found What I've Been Looking For. And I was curious. So skepticism in tow, we walked in and we've never left. That doesn't mean the skepticism went away. I joke all the time that I was held back in beginnings class, and it's really not a joke. Thank God to the wonderful people here at the Journey. My questions were always welcome. I was always hung up in trying to find certainty in the stories in the Bible, like somebody living in the belly of a whale, really? Or evolution versus creationism, or Abraham having to sacrifice his son. I couldn't make sense of these stories. Then there was a series, I can't remember what year, and they had a video, and the video was of another pastor, and he was talking about when we get our own universe, we can make our own rules. And then Matt came on stage, and Matt says, if I get to the end of my life and I've been duped, what have I lost? But if I get to the end of my life and this is all real, I've lost everything. And I'll never forget that moment, ever. I got chills, and I thought, okay, God, I hear you. I hear you. And we've been here ever since. That doesn't mean I don't struggle still. It doesn't mean I don't still have answers. But my journey continues, and it's been 12 years this month. I recall the moment I decided that my life just made more sense with Jesus in it than it did without. And it was when I decided to put down that need for certainty and realize that making sense of the stories was only holding me back. And to continue moving forward, I had to put that down. And God still continues. He's always been a part of my life, and I just never really knew it. I can remember being a child and having a neighbor who taught good news, she called it. And she'd have us kids down once a week after school. I only went for the dum-dum sucker you got at the end if you learned your memory verse. And our memory verse that stuck with me, and I saw it everywhere throughout my life, was John 3:16. At the time, I had no idea what that verse would mean in my life. But as I grew older, I realized it was God's message to me throughout my entire life. My childhood, like so many, was not easy. But he was always there, and I just didn't know it. There was always this quiet strength, this guidance that maybe I didn't have from home. And it just has become resoundingly louder the older I got. The more I opened my heart, the more he played a role. And it was funny, my son came with us to church this past weekend, and Paul was talking about Easter. And he asked me, Mom, how did Jesus die? And I thought to myself, oh, how do you explain this to a 10-year-old boy? And we went home, and the Discovery Channel's running this movie right now. It's a new one called The Resurrection. And I played the trailer, and my son said, Mom, can we watch that? And I have to tell you, that was one of the most profound experiences in my life, watching that show, that movie with my 10-year-old son, and he was all in. He wanted to know more about Jesus, and just being able to share that with him, it's just God taking that one more step, bringing my family and me that much closer. So my story is about doubts and questions, and I still have them. But as I continue to take steps of faith, they become less resounding. As I continue to rely on God and put my faith in Him and learn more about the relationship with Him, I find that I have more peace in my life. My life just makes more sense. And I don't look for answers as hard as I used to. I just have learned to rely on faith.